Okay, good evening, people. This is our ninth episode of One Angry Black Republican. I have a special guest today, longtime activist in, the struggle, for black liberation. Brother Lawrence Hamm. Welcome, brother.
Good evening. How are you?
I am edgy. I'm edgy. This moment in our history as Americans is it's filled with uncertainty. And that makes me edgy. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm chugging along, trying to get through it like everybody else.
All right. That sounds good. Following the protocols set by, I want to be facetious here and say set by Governor Cuomo. What say you?
Well, I'm here in New Jersey, and our governor is Governor Murphy. It's interesting. Each of these governors, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, they all seem to have a somewhat different style, but basically they're following similar policies. And right now, they all are confronted with a crisis that cannot be solved with the resources from the state and local government. This pandemic, this COVID-19 pandemic, is really has really shown the fault lines in American society, in particular in our healthcare system, or lack of a national healthcare system, and also in the ineptitude of the Trump administration, but even more deeply, the institutional limitations within our healthcare system and the need for systemic change within our healthcare system. For me, it is eminently clear that we need a national system of universal health care in this country. Right now, the path toward that seems to be Medicare for all, which is now favored, according to polls, by a majority of Americans. So this situation today it has some parallels in the Great Depression and post-World War II period. And there is a possibility, although there is no guarantee, there is a possibility that this crisis could in fact bring us closer to social reform, particularly with regard to healthcare, that we might not have achieved otherwise under normal conditions.
Okay. So just to follow up to that question, I have a question to follow up with that before I actually get into the meat and potatoes of this interview. But if our economy collapses, okay, what would that mean for Black Americans? And what would we do in that event?
Well, far be it from me to try to speak for all Black Americans, but I'll say a couple things. One, the collapse of the economy would bring economic catastrophe to the overwhelming majority of Black families. The overwhelming majority of Black people are working. Some of them, if you use income as a measurement, will be qualified as middle class, but they do not in fact own the major corporations. They don't own the factories. They don't own that they work for, we're dependent either by wages or by salaries on the private and public sector for income. And so the collapse of the economy, as we can already see, I mean, this is not something far-fetched we're talking about. One of the reasons that Congress just passed the largest emergency aid bill in modern human history, not just for the United States, but in modern human history. The reason that was passed by a Congress that is where the House is democratically controlled, the Senate is Republican controlled, the White House is Republican controlled. The reason it passed is because everyone knows that the economy has been ground to a halt, and they must engage in massive infusions of money into the economy to plug up the holes as the economy has been brought to a halt. The economy hasn't been brought to a halt by the natural rhythm of the capitalist economic system. We have in our economic system a built-in boom and bust cycle. That's not what happened. What happened here is that the economy was brought to a halt in an attempt to stop the spread of the COVID-19 virus. But it was brought to a halt nonetheless. And so a massive infusion of government money is going on. Unfortunately, it's primarily a bailout for the corporations and the banks, as most bailouts have been in the last 75 or 40 years in this country. But there are some things in this package that will have some benefit to people, the direct cash payments that they're going to make, the increase in unemployment insurance, aid that will go to small business, several $100 billion that will go to hospitals. But ironically, in the midst of a pandemic, a healthcare crisis, and we're giving 4 times as much money to corporations as we're going to give to our hospitals. It makes no sense. And this crisis points out the irrationality of the capitalist system and the need for fundamental change, because this is not going to be the last such crisis we face. In one sense, as terrible as this COVID-19 pandemic may be, there are worse viruses than this. This virus is primarily spread through aerosol droplets, but what happens when the next virus comes along that is completely airborne?
Wow, makes you think. Well, brother, thank you for that. I want to begin. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you hear me?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello?
Hello?
Brother Hamm, I'm here. You hear me? I hear you.
I lost you just for a minute there.
Yeah, I saw that when I heard the ringing. But, okay, so we're back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right, so, the first question I wanted to ask you, I was reading an article when you announced that you were going to run for the U.S. Senate. And particularly, I was interested in what, Baba Zaid Muhammad said, he, in regards to your announcement, to run for the Senate. He said, speaking about you, he said, you have been a principled leader in the protracted struggle for social justice and black power. I want you to tell us who, for the listener, who Lawrence Hamm is, okay? And I want you to tell us who you are with that in mind. How did you get to that place, a principled black leader?
Well, I appreciate being characterized in that way.
And Zaid is a really good friend of mine. I love this brother. So, for him to say that is huge. Okay.
Yes. I'm appreciative and humbled by that assessment. I was born in Washington, D.C., black in Washington, D.C. But as a baby, only a few months old, I was brought to Newark, New Jersey. So essentially, I've spent all my life here in New Jersey. I was raised in Newark. I'm a product of Newark Public Schools, South 17th Street School, and Arts High School, undergraduate Arts High School.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I came to it had a lot to do with the uprising in rebellion of 1967 that some call the Newark riots. We call it the Newark Rebellion. I was about 12 years old, maybe 13, 12 going on 13, in the summer of 1967. And up until that time, I had a normal childhood. And I know this may be difficult for some like to grasp, but I really didn't grow up raised conscious. I mean, I grew up in an all-black family, an all-black neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But as a child, truthfully, I did not, and I can't speak on what my mother and my grandparents were, but my father passed away when I was 40.
Wow.
So, up until that point, I was with my mother and my father. But my father passed away when I was 4. He was a truck driver, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was a seamstress. She went back to live with her parents, my grandparents. And during the time that I was growing up, I didn't hear a lot of talk about race, and I didn't hear a lot of talk about politics. Now, that doesn't mean they didn't talk about it, but in my presence, and to my recollection, I don't have much memory. In fact, the only thing I remember my grandfather once saying with regards to Dr. Martin Luther King was he said that Dr. King should stick to civil rights. We were sitting in front of the TV one day, and I guess they were talking about, King started to speak out against the war in Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
My grandfather was a boilerman. I don't know.
Boiler man. That means he's working on boilers.
Yes, that's right. The boilers that were in the lower level of a paper processing factory in Brookfield, New Jersey.
Powerful skill. How old was your grandfather when he was doing that, and what year was that?
Well, my grandfather must have been in his 50s when we came to live with him, and he worked almost until the day he died. He died in 1968. He worked, and then one day he got sick, he would go to work, and later he was dead. He died of cancer.
Wow, sorry.
But, my family was not a political race. People with political activists, they must have loved it. Maybe some do, but I didn't. I was a pretty normal kid. And then one night, July 1967, all hell broke loose. I happened to be across the street from my house at a house party, like an old-time house party. Kids do that before, but
I don't think they do it like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody ran upstairs and said, Springfield Avenue is on fire.
Wow.
We all started running downstairs, and my mother was on the porch across the street. She knew what was going down. She was on the porch waiting for me to come out and told me to get my butt across the street and get upstairs. And so we lived in a Green family with frame tenement house on 12th Street. And we had a front porch. We lived on the second floor. We had a front porch. We stood out on the porch in the summertime, and we literally could see the rebellion from my porch. But back in those days, there were not malls as we know them today. Back in those days, business was in the community.
Mm-hmm.
You actually did your laundry. You had dry cleaning. My mother actually worked with dry cleaning around the corner. So when the rebellion broke out, people were tearing everything up. You know, that's what it looked like to me. Romeo. And we lived right across the street from a dry goods warehouse where they tore the whole bay door off the warehouse. Man, cornflakes was flying everywhere.
Wow.
You know, and I asked my grandfather, I said, Papa, why is everybody doing this? You know, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And my grandfather started the first serious conversation because he was in the place of my father. You know, my father had passed away, so my grandfather, like my father. And he didn't start in the United States. He started telling me about when he was in the Army. My father and my grandfather were Army veterans.
Mm-hmm.
They're both buried in Glendale Cemetery in Belleville, New Jersey. They're both buried in the veterans section, literally within a few rows of one another.
Wow.
My grandfather fought in World War I, and my father fought in World War II. And my grandfather that night of the rebellion began talking about his experience in the Army. And he told me that night about how when they got to France and they got off the ships and they went into the town, he said the French people were asking to see their tails.
Wow. Wow.
And that was the first real serious. That's what I said when I was you know, it's like, what?
Wow.
It might be hard to believe, but as racist as the media was back then, and it was pretty racist, although a lot of us who were not conscious didn't call it racism, but you didn't see black people with tails. You might see black people.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, brother. I got you back. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, you know, you didn't see black people with tails. Now, you might see things that insinuated that black people were less than human. But, you know, this whole thing with tails, you know, it's really blew my mind. And the fact that he was a soldier and they said this to him. And my grandfather, I learned, really hated the South. Now, he probably had some really bad experiences in the South. My grandfather was like a black man. When I say a black man, melanin rich black man. He could pass for an African.
Powerful.
Tall, very dark.
Wow.
So I imagine he saw the worst side of racism in America, and he hated the South. He hated the South so much that he told my mother that when he died, if she had him buried, if she put his body on the train to be taken down south to be buried, that he would get up on the train and come back and beat up her eyes.
Wow.
So this was like my first kind of introduction to race. You know, the rebellion of '67 was tectonic. It literally shifted the ground under our feet. I mean, literally overnight. And it might not have really been overnight. It might have been more gradual, but it really seemed overnight. Black people were calling themselves Negro and colored, and those were the most familiar terms, the most frequently used terms. They wouldn't call themselves Negro and colored to black. James Brown came out with a song saying loud, I'm black, I'm proud.
Yes.
67. Black people went from, I mean, literally down the street from where I lived on Front Street, there was a what they call a tonsorial parlor where men went to get their hair processed.
What was that word you used? Tonsorial?
Yes, yes.
Wow, okay.
You probably don't even know what the process is today. That's when, you know, black men would go get their hair straightened and all kinds of things. live infused compounds to make their hair straight. Go back and you look at record albums of that period, early mid-1960s, you'll see the Four Tops and the Temptations with their hair.
Yes.
You come forward 2 years, 68, they got afros. You know, even James Brown, you know, he was the king of the process, as a matter of fact.
Wow, yeah.
By 68, they was all wearing afros, you know, and this was the revolution that took place. It wasn't a revolution in the sense that it was an overthrow of the system. It was more of a revolution in consciousness and a revolution in our political institutions, because black people stuff. Once the Civil Rights Act was passed, the Voting Rights Act was passed in 64, we started using those tools.
Mm-hmm.
We went from 400 black elected officials in 1966 to 10,000 black elected officials in 1972. Literally almost 6 years. You know, this political type of revolution happened in America, and a lot of my generation rode that wave. So when I got to Arts High School, and tell me what you want me to stop.
Oh no, please, brother. This is you're honoring me in this moment, and I want to honor you, brother. The people need to hear what you got to say.
Right. Well, when I got to Arts High in 19 in the fall, and you know what's really it was so catastrophic. But school started as normal.
Wow.
I mean, the 5 nights that the rebellion was really in process. I mean, I saw the National Guard roll up my street. And
now you're 12 years old watching this.
I'm 12. I'm watching this from my front porch, second floor front porch in the house. We saw the Guard march up 16th Avenue. We saw half tracks. A half track is like a small tank that fits one man, but it's very small. It's not like a big, it's a half size of a regular tank. That's why it's called the half track. The half tracks and the trucks, other trucks, men sitting inside. I mean, we were under military occupation. You know.
Wow. Isn't that about to happen now?
I mean, one of the great dangers we face right now is that in crises like this, government always seeks, not always, but you know, with a certain amount of frequency in the historical sense, seeks to overstep the bounds of its power. I mean, just this past week, Attorney General Barr wanted permission from the courts for the Department of Justice to be able to detain people indefinitely and detain them without reason. That is a violation of the Constitution, violation of the right of habeas corpus. You know, and Barr is seeing that, and I'm telling everybody, you know, this is an audience, you need to call your congressperson and say, no, the Department of Justice should not. And they're using this pandemic, this crisis, as a reason that they should have the right to retain people indefinitely and detain them without a warrant stating why they're being detained. You know, you can go online, you know all about that.
If it weren't for the fact that, you know, protecting ourselves against, you know, this type of virus and the you know, the logic of allowing ourselves to be put into isolation like this, would you support what these governors have done?
Well, they haven't quite done it yet. Well, in some places, I think the National Guard has been called out, but it's not like it was in 67. Like, I'm on my street now, right? And there's no guard. There's no guard in the whole town.
Well, the National Guard right now have been deployed, and as of Monday, they'll be on the streets of New York, Rhode Island has begun. Rhode Island has begun stopping cars from coming into Rhode Island. Isn't this an amping up of what you just described?
Now, if the guard is being delegated primarily to help move people and material and equipment to our healthcare facilities to relieve the overburden of the hospitals and other healthcare facilities, I would support that. But I don't support limiting and really just scuttling our civil liberties. That I do not support, you know, and I don't think anybody else should support that.
So how far do we go here in allowing our civil liberties to be slowly chipped away under the auspices of, you know, us protecting each other?
Well, we go as far to go, you know. What if it doesn't say the limits of tyrants are prescribed by the boundaries of those who they oppress, you know, so
is POP going to be one of the organizations? You know, I mean, you know, your organization is a staple in, you know, all of New Jersey. Every time I see one of the signs addressing different issues, so if any organization would take the vanguard position and get out there in the streets to, you know, in violation of our civil liberty, is that something you're willing to do?
It's something that we discussed this last night, Saturday, discussed it Thursday night, and we will continue to discuss it. In fact, I feel perfectly comfortable in telling you that we had a virtual meeting. It was organized every Thursday. We did not meet in person this week because the governor has banned meetings of 10 or more people.
Yes.
So we did not have an in-place meeting. We had a virtual meeting. We had a teleconference. And during the course of going through our agenda, one of the things that we decided was that we were going to consult an attorney who's worked with us historically on what we can do in terms of protesting at this point. And we're going to consult the ACLU. And when we come back next Thursday, this coming Thursday, for our virtual meeting, we will discuss whatever the outcomes of those contacts that we made over these 7 days. So this is because we were actually talking about, you know, we have something called Justice Mondays. We protest every Monday in front of the federal building, protesting against police brutality.
I know.
We've been having Justice Mondays protests for 4 years now. So the question came up, when we're going to have Justice Monday protests. We decided we should talk to the ACLU, talk to our attorney that has historically worked with us and make a decision on whether or not to do that. You know,
would Mayor Baraka be in opposition to that now?
I don't know. I can't speak for Mayor Baraka. I know that the city of Newark has been put under increasing what would you call it? Curfew?
Increasing restrictions, as you know,
right,
the mayor puts it.
Right. That's right. Restriction, curfew,
and his rhetoric there is completely in line, you know, with the 5 mayors, you know, who pretty much initiated.
Right. They all try to speak, you know, with one voice, just as the governors got together and tried to have more policy, the mayor doing the same thing. I do not think that Mayor Baraka would consciously and with malevolent intent try to violate people's civil liberties. I don't think he would consciously. I think it could possibly happen, but force of trying to impose these restrictions. But, you have to understand, it's not, and they're not imposing the restrictions for the restriction's sake. They're imposing these restrictions to try to keep the population in place so that they can push down curves on the coronavirus spread.
But that's why we're walking ourselves pretty much into isolation, because it's in our. I don't see any other scenario that could have pushed us to this limit.
Right. And we'll see. The governor, I think, they're going to reevaluate everything around April 17th. I think that's the target date, and whether they should continue these restrictions or gradually lift them or impose even more draconian.
Would you say the People's Organization for Progress is being patient right now?
I would say the People's Organization for Progress is monitoring the situation right now. That, the phrase is, we're full rush in. And this is something we've never encountered before. I've never encountered anything like this in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old you are. I'm 66 years old.
47, brother. You are definitely my elder. In every respect. Thank you.
Right. But we both experienced 9/11.
Yes.
And we know how catastrophic that was. But even in the midst of 9/11, we did not have a statewide shelter in place or shelter in home order. After the first week, things were gradually, slowly getting back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
But in an effort to control this virus spread, so we're monitoring the situation.
And I guess, does that speak to then the principled leader of our community tag placed on you, brother?
Don't make me laugh. Pot is a collective. I am, as the chairman, I am a spokesperson. And to be honest and frank with people, we are collective, and that's how we make our decision making. We do it collectively. So when we come to a decision, we say, okay, we're going to protest, then it's probably a fact that somebody made a motion and we voted on it whether we protest or not.
Mm-hmm.
If we say that our policy is going to monitor the situation, somebody probably voted on. That's how
true democracy.
Right. That's how we make our policy for the past 37 years. Pop is 37 years old. Was founded in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes as a chairman, I might have a little more juice, in some situations. And sometimes it's been to my disadvantage to be the chairman because they come in ready.
Yeah, hey, it's a tough charge, on your shoulders. But I would contend that you don't get to that level in this struggle if you're not principled.
Right. I mean, for instance, one of the decisions that we made in the last meeting, we read that Cuba may have a drug that has been proven effective. They have used it in China.
Mm-hmm.
Cuban doctors exported all over. They're in Italy, they're in China, they're all over. The doctors are Cuba's biggest export.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using something like they call alpha ferron B, something like that.
Alpha ferron B.
Yeah, it's an antiviral drug.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be effective, but we can't have it in the U.S. because of the sanctions that were reimposed. Remember, Barack Obama lifted some of the sanctions.
Yes, I remember.
But in an attempt to normalize relations between Cuba in the United States. So
Mm-hmm.
now they have a drug, we can't use it. Just like they have a drug, I think that's effective in fighting lung cancer.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get it. We can't get it because of the sanction against Cuba. So we voted to send a letter to all the federal elected officials saying that we should lift the sanctions against Cuba, you know, so that people can have access to whatever drugs Cuba has effective. Because we don't have anything in the U.S. right now
Mm-hmm.
that is effective. You know, this is one of the ironies of globalization.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the generic drugs that we use in the United States are produced either in China or India. So what happens when the supply chains or the free market supply chains collapse? We
Mm-hmm.
can't get the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really something, you know, when I was a student at university, when I started at Princeton the second time, because I was there in 1971,
Mm-hmm.
right after I graduated high school, and I was appointed to the Board of Education.
Mm-hmm.
And I left Princeton and served on the board then for 3 years, then went back, returned as a freshman, had to start all over again. One of the big political activities that we were as students, and some of us were engaged in, was the fight against what was called then runaway shops. This was the very beginning of globalization in 1974, where factories were leaving the United States, where they had to pay, say, they were auto workers, you know, they had to pay the auto workers, they couldn't wait, but they paid $30 more an hour back in 1974.
Mm-hmm.
As an auto worker with some overtime, in 1974, you could make over $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, so the owners of those auto industries didn't want to pay that money, so what did they do? They took their plants and they sent them overseas. And
Mm-hmm.
at that time, they were called runaway shops. And then this thing grew to such a dimension that they stopped calling it runaway shops and they started calling it globalization. But one of the shortcomings of globalization is the fact that our country does not produce much anymore of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're finding fundamentally our economy is based on services. You know, services of various types and financing. You know, but we produce very few things here in the United States, when a half century ago we used to produce almost everything here in the United States.
Absolutely. But with that said, you know, and I'm going to hopefully get you to agree to some follow-up interviews after this one. But this is only going to be an hour long. And, you know, like, and you just touched on so many different conversations I would like to have with you going forward. You're such a wealth of knowledge for not just myself, but, you know, for this entire generation of blacks in our community and, you know, other groups. So, you know, there's a lot that, you know, we're going to learn from you. We're going to continue to learn from you. But I want to get into the meat and potatoes of this particular, so we get as much of this, you know, that I want to address out. But going with that idea, you know, so we're going to just check the box and say, you know, Brother Lawrence Hamm. Do you prefer Lawrence or Larry?
Either one. What's easier for you to say? So.
Okay, I like Brother Lawrence. Brother Lawrence Hamm is a principled leader. Okay? Is Cory Booker a principled leader? And you know, and you know, the last time I heard you spoke, brother, it was at in person. You know, Metropolitan Baptist Church. You came and addressed our Straight Talk for Men's group, and
Wow.
oh yeah, brother, we go back. You know, so so is Cory Booker a principled leader? And you know, then the follow-up question: why should we vote? Why should New Jersey vote Larry Hamm?
Cory Booker is a politician in a very unconventional way is, first of all, let me say that I'm running against Booker not because I have anything against him personally. He and I have not interacted almost at all. I mean, I've never had a meeting with Booker since he came to New York, and I remember when he came to New York because he actually tried to get a meeting with me, but because of my work schedule at the time, it was difficult for me. And this was even before he was elected to the city council.
So right at the beginning, he came, even he had enough sense to, come through, Brother Hamm.
Well, yeah, he wanted to meet him. I wasn't averse to meeting with him, but I just had the kind of job in the lab, and I didn't have the hours. It was like he wanted a daytime meeting, and I really couldn't make that happen because I had to work. He's a young man, relatively speaking. I mean, he's coming up on 50 now, so he's not that young anymore, but he has had a number of personal achievements in his life. But this is not about personality or personal like or dislike. This is about policy. And even though Mr. Booker sounds very progressive when he speaks, for the most part, he's conventional, kind of politician. At one point, when he was attempting to run for president, he received more donations from billionaires than any of the other presidential candidates. Now think about it, there were 27 of them. I think he had more donations. I think he had donations from 60 of the richest people in the country. And if you think you could take that kind of money and not be accountable to the people who gave you that money, then you really do not have a basic understanding.
I'm feeling like labeling him politician is a euphemism for unprincipled.
Well, I would be principled and unprincipled to each person to decide for themselves.
Subjective, okay. I could go with that.
But just looking at his voting record, I mean, he really helped to transform the Newark public school system from a public school system to really a bifurcated system now. Because if half of the schools in Newark now are charter schools, and much of that transformation took place, didn't just take place during the Booker administration. It took place facilitated by the Booker administration. And I think the whole charter school really had a negative impact on our public schools, and we really need to have a moratorium on any more charter schools because they really go against the spirit of what public education is supposed to be. It's all about.
So you don't agree with school choice?
What I believe is that we have a reality on the ground that we have to confront. Now, I know working class parents who send their kids to charter schools. I'm not going to mention the name of the charter because I didn't have their permission to do that. But just trust me, it's very well known. Probably the most well-known charter school is Black Community Resort, and they have schools all over the place.
Possibly North Star or KIPP. I worked in 3 charter schools. I worked in 3 charter schools in Newark, and I've also worked in 2 public schools. So I do have a perspective on that, fight. But my question is about school choice. Has school choice made the Newark school students more competitive?
I don't think so. I think that the data shows that the charter schools are not actually doing that much better a job And the public schools, remember, the public schools were not uniform. They were public schools that were high performing, middle performing, and low performing. And the charter schools are the same way. There are charter schools that are high performing, middle performing, low performing. The only difference is that the charter schools have the ability to reject certain students that the public schools must take. They have an aversion to taking students with special needs. We know that is a fact. They have an aversion to taking students from various demographics. And this helps them to keep their numbers up. But
in other words, they kick out all of the special ed students back into the public schools, and, you know, they want to, you know, continue the social gentrification of the students they keep.
That's right. And I remember the beginning of charter schools. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like...
What was the first charter school in Newark?
The first charter school wasn't a charter school. It was a program at Southside High School called School Within a School. SWATs.
School within a school. Is that any different from community schools?
I'm not familiar with it is community schools a company, a charter school company.
Well, community schools, I remember the one program that was over at Louise A. Spencer, but it was like an organization that worked within the school itself. And they were called community schools. You know, they...
I wouldn't have called SWATs community schools because they didn't have... Their attempt was really to remove the community out of the students, or to remove the students from the community, even while they were in it. What they did in essence is take the brightest students and put them on the program by themselves. They took the whole 4th floor, 3rd floor of Mount Tech School, and that became their schools within the school. And then that program got more funding, got more grants, public and private sources, and eventually they left Mount Tech School. And they set up, I'm trying to think, they become University High School. But anyway, that was really the beginning of this attempt to bifurcate the Newark school system, an attempt, so to speak, to take the cream off the top of the hill and put it in an environment of its own, because that's what the charter schools are doing, whether they do it consciously or unconsciously. That's what's going on. And I know a lot of parents, they don't have a level of intent, you know, when they send their kids to these charters. They want their children to have the best education. And they also want their children to be safe. They want to know if they send their kids to school, their kids are going to come back in the same condition that they left the house in, or come back here.
Yeah.
So I understand the motivation that parents have, but the fact of the matter is, right now, the charter schools in Newark, I think, are consuming like some crazy portion of the total amount of money for Newark public schools. I think it's almost up to half now, 49% or something.
Wow.
Crazy thinking like that. And if we keep going, we're going to totally destroy public education, as happened in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Charterized the entire public school system in New Orleans, Louisiana. So I see this as antithetical. I think free public schools were an advance in democratic society, you know, because up until the Civil War, there was no free public education. People got education either through religious institutions or tutoring, private tutoring. You know, you had money. Free public schools, as we know them, came out of Reconstruction, out of Black people's movement for freedom. You know, when we got the right to vote and we elected legislators in southern states that we were predominantly Black, or what they call populists, a mixture of blacks and whites, basically working, you know, in a kind of democratic vision. The first thing they did was set up free public schools for all the children. They didn't say free public school for the Black kids, free public school for the white. It was free public school. That's free public schools as we know them today. And we're actually going backwards. But this is the characteristic of capitalism in its last, in its most recent stages of development. When you have unfettered capital, you have this advance in the economic institutions, but the social institutions begin to retrograde and even fail. I mean, what we've had in this country for the last 75 years since the Great Depression, prior to World War II, we've had a low-level class warfare. That's what's been going on. And the only problem is that the ruling class, the capitalist class, has been winning. At the end of World War II, during the Eisenhower administration, Eisenhower was Republican. During the Eisenhower administration, he taxed the wealthy at a rate that was 3 to 4 times what we tax the wealthy at now.
Wow.
And that's how the highways got built. The national highways came into existence under Eisenhower, and so on and so forth. What they have done is lobby our politicians, change the tax law, and they have paid less and less and less every year back. And now they have $21 trillion sitting in offshore accounts in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean, in Bermuda, $21 trillion of profits that are offshore, so they can't be taxed. But that money, should be taxed.
This is a great segue into, this final group of questions, because they've got like 9 minutes left in this particular episode. Well, first off, let me talk about this, the black vote. We just witnessed the strength of the black vote in, pretty much, resurrecting, almost flatlined Biden, campaign.
Right.
What? How do we, what is the real power of a unified black vote? Okay, one. And how do we get one? What do you suggest we do if we made that a central focus?
You really want me to start this discussion in the last 9 minutes?
Absolutely, but also when as you're giving me your answer, you can take the whole 9 minutes. Talk about the black people supporting Republicans today. Like, where do you stand on that idea? And you can take the floor.
Well, let me say this as a prerequisite to the discussion. I support black people's democratic rights to be a part of any party they wish to be a part of. I support black people's democratic rights to support third parties if they choose to do so. I support people's right of self-determination, to participate in the political system in the way that each person sees best for him or herself. Now,
powerful, brother, which is the next interview I would like to do with you. I would like to talk about your relationship with Brother Baraka, God rest his soul, Amity. And I know the importance of that relationship, but, yes, brother, that's what would reinforce. You just reinforced my, assertion that, yes, you are principled. But continue.
Right. So I support the right of people to join whatever party they want, to support third parties to run candidates. Now, because I support people's right to do that, does not necessarily mean I think that doing that is the best strategy in a given situation.
Okay.
I always try to support those political organizations whose policies are going to benefit the vast majority. The vast majority of black people, and the vast majority of the rest of society. Now, when I say vast majority, I'm referring to working class, middle class, and the poor, because we have a large impoverished class in America. Some 40 million people
Yes.
in this country live below or at the poverty level.
Yes.
And so we have to have policies that benefit all men. Now, I have known for years black Republicans. You know, first of all, a lot of black people were Republicans because the Republican Party was the party of Lincoln.
Yes.
And that was the party.
Who you spoke about at length when you addressed us in Straight Talk.
Right, right. So, you know, that's why a lot of black people were Republicans, because Lincoln brought about and slavery.
Yes.
Passage of the 13th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
And the Republican Party played a progressive role in that regard. But the party began to change at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. And it became the party of the robber barons. You can go and read a book by that title, The Robber Barons. These were the richest people, the Carnegies, the Mellons, the Rockefellers,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Who's the author of that?
That's right. They were the Bill Gates and the Jeff Bezos.
Who's the author of that?
I can't remember.
The Robber Barons.
If you just...
Yeah, I'll Google it. You can continue, brother. I'll get it.
Yeah. So they went from playing a progressive role to being the party strictly of capital.
Mm-hmm.
You know, strictly the party of the wealthiest. And that's what their policies were. That's what their man was in office, Herbert Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was Hoover's policies that, in part, I mean, it wasn't just Hoover's policies, it was also the major capitalist system. Those things working in tandem brought about the big crash of 1929.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Democrats and the way the Democrats went from being essentially the white man's party.
Mm-hmm.
It was the party of the South. It was the party of slavery. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but it began a change, not a total change, but a very slow and gradual change. FDR, Depression made them put populist policies in place, like the WPA, Works Progress Administration.
Mm-hmm.
There's a book you can read on this called Regulating Poor by Francis. No, not Regulating. Well, that's one of the book that I'm actually referring to. It's Poor People's Movements. Poor People's Movements by Dr. Francis Fox Pitt.
Okay.
She talks a lot about, and you can also read the people's history of the United States. It's by Howard Zinn.
Mm-hmm.
You have a whole chapter in that on what happens in the Great Depression. So the party that was the party of slavery became the party somewhat of the working class, and the party that was the party of abolition became the party of the capitalist class.
Mm.
But the change wasn't automatic. You know, Dr. King was a Republican. I think I saw him with Martin King. He had on a Nixon button. Nixon was running against Kennedy. So this change was gradual. And you know, as you can imagine, a lot of black people in the South stayed Republican for a long time because of the racist history, racist nature of the Democratic Party,
Mm-hmm.
so on and so forth. But that change essentially basically was completed by the early 1960s with the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was a Dixiecrat in Texas, said when he signed those bills, he said, "We have lost the South." And it actually started with Goldwater.
Mm-hmm.
Goldwater ran against LBJ. Not LBJ. It was LBJ that the Republicans began. Now Nixon gets the credit, but it actually started with Goldwater. This is what they call the Southern strategy, where you get this effort by the Republican Party to begin to enroll all those parties that were, all those states that were Democratic states, they start to enroll them into the Republican Party. And the Democratic Party, which had been rooted in the South, begins to become the predominant party of the industrialized North, in Chicago, New York, and big cities like Los Angeles. And so by the 1960s, the process was fundamentally complete. Nixon really gets the credit for the Southern, because he outwardly spoke on the Southern strategy. And essentially every Republican president or presidential candidate since then has been pursuing that strategy. And it was bolstered, when George Wallace left the Democratic Party and joined the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why today, I'm running as a Democrat in the Democratic primary, because Bernie Sanders, who I believe to be the most progressive of all of those who were in the race. Now just imagine he had 27 in the Democratic primary. Now they're only Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. But between Biden and Sanders, I'm supporting Sanders in the Democratic primary. And then, as I have said before, and I say it with a certain amount of reticence, I will support whoever the Democratic nominee is that comes out of the Democratic National Convention, because I think Trump is the worst president of modern times.
Okay, so but let me ask this then. Because going back to this strengthening of the black vote question, wasn't it Malcolm who first attempted to bring black people's awareness of the Democratic Party, who had been promising many things to the black community, and we kept throwing our vote to the Democratic Party? Isn't that what we have been doing since our collective move to the Democratic Party?
What you say, in a sense, is true. Malcolm was very critical of the Democratic Party.
Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party, that was him.
That's right. But then we must ask this question. Why have the black masses, at least those who do vote, because there's a whole lot of private that number don't vote outnumber the people who do vote. And I'm talking about black people too. That number of black people who don't vote is outnumbered those who do. But if you're not voting, it's a lot.
But don't we weaponize the black vote if we begin, the serious process of, examining every party, and, we're not going to get everything from any particular party.
Right. But let me say this. We must ask the question, why have the majority of black people who do vote, why have they stayed with the Democratic Party?
Well, why do you think?
And my contention is because that is the party that has offered policies that, in fact, have had some, even if nominal, benefit to the black community. Whereas the Republican Party, which ironically has been the party of abolition, is now, today, the party of Trump. It is clearly a white nationalist party now. And this is clearly an example in history of how things turn into their opposites.
But if you believe in protracted struggle, brother, isn't it not wise, to, go into any system or organization to change it from within?
I do believe in protracted struggle, but I believe in a multi-dimensional struggle. I believe that we cannot stand on the sidelines and exclude ourselves from the electoral arena. But at the same time, I believe that we cannot be in the electoral arena and be dependent on that. my strategy is in part an inside or electoral strategy, and an outside extra electoral strategy. We cannot just depend on the political system, because as you have said, the political system has not really delivered to our community all that it should have. So we have to have organizations like the People's Organization for Progress, like the Black Panther Party, like the NAACP, like any other type of non-political party type organization. We have to have those organizations that can, in fact, bring the pressure from the outside. You know,
brother, this was a blessing.
What is pop known for? Pop is known for protesting.
Yes.
If people, that's what we're known for.
Yes.
People might not like it, but when they say, what do they do? Oh, they protest.
That's right. That's right.
Some people say terroristically. You know,
I get it. I listen. I hear some of those voices. But, you know, I appreciate this. Because I got to wrap this up. I appreciate this interview, brother, and I hope I can get you to commit to follow up at some point. Not right away.
as many as you want.
I appreciate that. But so here's my question. Final question. Is it a contradiction to fight for Black power while while aligning yourself with the Republican Party? Is that are we traitors for being Republicans today? Black Republicans?
Black people who have decided to work with the Republican Party, they have their reasons for doing so. I think the great danger that faces Black people in the Republican Party, because I believe that you would probably be in that party and probably play a gadfly role within that. But the danger is when you have someone like Trump. See, there was a time when you could talk about liberal Republicans, because there were Republicans that voted for the Civil Rights Act, and there were Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Act. Although the thing passed because the majority of Democrats, the Democrats had control of the Congress at that time. The majority of them supported the Civil Rights Act, but the Dixiecrats, the Democrats, opposed it. But there were Republicans like Javits and Lindsay and these other people who were actually considered quote-unquote liberal Republicans. So at one time you had a diversity of opinion within the Republican Party, but that has almost disappeared.
Okay, so my reason for advocating aligning with the Republican Party today as blacks is an attempt to strengthen the black vote by letting the Democratic Party know that we're serious about utilizing our vote to the benefit of our community. Is that not an effective strategy?
It's effective if, in fact, you're getting the Republican Party. Because what does effective mean? In fact, means that you have an impact in the manner that you would take.
I mean, in terms of effective, if my only goal is to see black people vote as a unified, body, I'm saying or suggesting that the Democratic Party has taken for granted our vote. And they have done it for the last 6 decades. So as a result of that, won't we strengthen our vote with both parties by showing our ability to vote Republican in this particular election, which we can logically say, is more in favor of a Trump re-election? Wouldn't it be a wise strategy if the only goal is to strengthen our vote?
But how do re-elect Trump help black people?
See, brother, what I'm suggesting is I'm not thinking about, in other words, both parties, like Amiri Baraka said, are two wings on the same vampire bat. I don't think Democrats today look at the Democratic Party like that.
I know.
So if they don't think of the Democratic Party like that, then they're not able to be objective.
Well, if you were actually objective, first of all, philosophically, no two things are exactly the same. Just as two twins, identical twins, look exactly, if you take a cursory look at them, you say, boy, those two guys, they look exactly alike. But when you get to know them, you know that there are differences between them, right? The mother knows that even though she had identical twins, that these two boys or two girls or whatever they are very different, you know, in the way they behave, think, and act. I do not accept the proposition that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are exactly the same. I do accept the idea that Democrats have taken the black vote for granted, but that is not a homogeneous approach. In one sense, they have taken it for granted, but in the other sense, black people have remained in the Democratic Party because that's the party that has put forward what little social policies that have been beneficial to people over the past 50 years, since World War II, basically. You know, it's been the Democrat. You know, the irony isn't it the irony of irony? That the party that was the party of slavery was in fact the party that got the Civil Rights Act passed, that got the Voting Rights Act passed, that got the War on Poverty passed, Medicare and Medicaid, which I am on now as a senior citizen. In fact, as a senior citizen, I'm on Social Security, I'm on Medicare, I'm on Medicaid, you know.
Yeah, amen, brother.
And I have all these other whatever programs. All of that comes from the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party. You know, and that's the irony. You know, and that's why you have to be careful when you use an approach that says any two things are exactly the same. Because if they were exactly the same, black people would split equally among them. Black people are not split equally among them. It's lopsided.
See,
the overwhelming majority of black voters are in the Democratic Party, and they're in there for a reason. And they're not in there just because, you know, they like the name Democrat. They're in there because even though the party doesn't treat them, it's almost like being married, right? Your husband don't treat you like you want to be treated, but he does pay rent. You know, he does like, you know, so people stay in the marriage because a modicum of support is coming out of that arrangement. So,
see, brother, I'm sure you can give a lot of examples to support, you know, why black people, you know, have been committed to the Democratic Party. I'm not disputing any of that. My only, you know, caveat, so to speak, is the reality. Okay, we're not talking about with the reality that they've taken our vote for granted. And, you know, which speaks to the larger point that our vote as a collective isn't taken seriously. Politicians show up, you know, they...
But if you use the scientific approach, right, and you try to really observe what's going on. So we say this, and I won't disagree with you. I actually, believe it or not, agree with you that black votes are taken for granted, and we do not receive out of the political process commensurate with the support that we give to that political party, political process. But look at this. On the one hand, while the Democratic Party may take our votes for granted, the Republican Party rejects our votes totally because it is the Republican Party that has put policies of voter suppression in place. Voter ID laws, essentially returning us almost to a pre-1965 Voting Rights Act. Like in Florida, which is controlled by the Republican Party, the people had a referendum that said prisoners should have the right to vote, and the referendum won overwhelmingly.
Brother, I am totally on board with what your caricaturization of President Trump. When President Trump was elected, I did a song called "Fuck Donald Trump." Okay, because I was a black identity extremist teacher.
I think I heard that. So I think I heard that.
Oh, most definitely. So my point is, I was one of the most verbal at that particular time in terms of my disdain for America dropping the ball and allowing Trump to get in office. But when you look at the party, the Democrats, who have been making mistake after mistake after mistake, fumble after fumble, literally, we all should have, if we weren't, saying it, been totally against Nancy Pelosi, pushing up on impeachment of Donald. We knew he was going to get acquitted, okay? And this speaks to my point. We keep doing the same thing over and over again, and to our own peril. Okay, so my point is highlight when you take into consideration the fact that the black vote, okay, is so marginalized, and if we were to make a strategic move, banking or predicting a Donald Trump victory in 2020. If we could predict a Donald Trump victory in 2020, it doesn't matter that, we have all of this vitriol towards Donald Trump. He'll be president for another 8 years. I blame the Democratic fumble for that happening. So all I'm saying is, isn't it wise to say, listen, okay, you know what, Trump? Listen, guy, we know you're going to be the president, so we're going to bite the bullet here, and we're going to throw our support to you, and these are our conditions, okay? And looking forward to 2024, where we can now sit down at the table with any organization and listen with a stronger vote, because now the Democrats know we mean business, and the Republicans know. Why can't we think it long term instead of all these short term fumbles? Why not make a power move? And wouldn't that be a power move?
If it could be done, it certainly would be a power move.
I contend that it can be done, especially with brothers like yourself, Mayor Raz Baraka. You see, I'm talking about a paradigm shift. I'm suggesting a paradigm shift where the black vote is concerned.
I know what you're saying, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
You not holding your breath, and you outright considering me crazy for even a suggestion matters. I know.
I said at the outset, I support black people's right to join any party they want, to run candidates, and even create third party. I support the right, it's like supporting the right of free speech. But because I support the right of free speech, that doesn't mean.
Am I a traitor, brother, for advocating the Republican Party in this moment in history?
You did not hear me say
that. No, I'm asking. I've heard, and I try to be objective and responsible.
I do not think you're a traitor.
Thank you.
I do not think you're a traitor. I think that you're a person who believes in a certain strategy, and and you're pursuing that strategy.
Yes.
What I do say is that I don't think that strategy is a viable strategy.
Got you.
Because
Effective but not viable in this moment.
it's not viable. The party is the party of Trump right now. It's not even like you can point to any other political trend within the Democratic Party. You know, the whole party is in with Trump.
You remember how everybody came out against Booker T. Washington after his, Great Atlanta Compromise speech?
Right. Well,
looking back in retrospect, hey brother, looking back in retrospect, especially with so many people, even Du Bois, okay, realizing in that moment Booker T had the right message. Why?
No, I think history has borne out that in the long haul, history has borne out Boyce was right, because Boyce was presaging the civil rights movement. He was saying that we really could not advance as long as we lived under an apartheid. He didn't use the word apartheid, but that's what racial segregation was. As long as we lived under a racial segregationist dictatorship, that's what we lived under. Booker T was saying, essentially that we should really concern ourselves, get worked up by the struggle for equal rights, that we should cast our buckets down.
Cast your buckets down where you are, but isn't that a message of self-determination?
It is a message of self-help. And remember, Marcus Garvey built a lot of his philosophy on Booker T. Washington.
Yes.
So Booker T had something valuable to say. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, as it usually is, in the middle, or a combination, a synthesis of the two.
I just remember hearing Dr. John Henry Clark, God rest his soul, educating us on that point. That Booker T, he was brilliant in that moment, in utilizing the power structure to continually advance. Isn't that what Mayor Baraka has been doing?
Well, yes, he's trying to do something similar, but I don't think he is advocating what Booker T was at. Because see, the part of Booker T that says that we should have self-help. Self-help is in the Constitution of the People's Organization of Rocket when you read the preamble. It says we believe.
But he was saying so much more than self-help. He was talking about the slave using, they weren't prepared for many things, but he was talking about building skills, okay, that would lead to the ownership of property, that would lead to a dignified approach to establishing ourselves coming from such an imbalance.
Right, and that's good. We should have.
It was necessary.
Even when you do that and you take that approach, it's like Black Wall Street. They had all the skills, but when the white people thought the black people was getting too big for their britches, they burnt that shit down.
So then how then can we, in this particular moment, allow ourselves, knowing what this country is capable of, why would we allow this right now?
Allow what?
Allow ourselves to be quarantined, the stripping away of our civil liberties. We're literally prisoners in our own homes.
We're quarantined because we have to maintain a certain amount of social distancing because we're trying to contain the coronavirus. We're not quarantined the way we were quarantined. We were really quarantined in 1967 because of who we were, because we were black and because we were young. Now, there's a difference between being quarantined because you're trying to get a hold of a disease that's spreading like wildfire, and being quarantined because you're under military occupation, because you're fighting against a system of oppression. Those are two different phenomena, vastly different phenomena. Yes, the army factor in both.
If Donald Trump is willing, if we're against Donald Trump so much because he's, willing to suppress our vote and do all types of things to win office, is this, do we really want to allow, Donald Trump to, be in charge of our movement in New Jersey and New York and Connecticut and Delaware? Do we really want that?
Well, he's the president. He's not in charge at the state.
So Donald Trump just the other day announced that he was, considering a federal oversight of New Jersey and New York specifically, because of the, outbreak of numbers in these areas.
Right. And I personally think.
And doesn't the federal government supersede the states?
Yes. The federal government does under most circumstances. But Trump, I think a lot of this has to do with political vendetta. I think because he even mentioned this in the press conference that he didn't like the way Cuomo was talking about it. He didn't like the way the governor of Michigan was talking about it. He didn't like the way New Jersey, has talked about it. I haven't heard government being particularly critical of Trump at this point. So I think some of this may have a dimension of vindictiveness. He said today he was going to put New York City under total quarantine.
Yes, he said New Jersey likely. Right. So my point is, if the federal government, Donald Trump, puts both New Jersey and New York under federal quarantine, are we prepared for that?
Are we prepared for it? Probably not. Probably not the way Trump wants to do it.
Will we comply? Should we comply?
Should we comply? Well, it depends on what the quarantine means. If the quarantine is in fact actually going to help us contain the spread of COVID-19, then maybe we should comply. But if we see that this is really something else in disguise, then we shouldn't comply. You have to really evaluate the situation accordingly.
Is it wise to be prepared nonetheless for any possibility?
It is always wise to be prepared, because to be forearmed is to be forewarned. It's always wise to be prepared.
Brother Hamm, I so appreciate this. I'm gonna touch it up, and then I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna tag you in it. And brother, you're gonna be tough for me because I respect and love you a lot. I'm saying tremendously. So, you're one of our generals in the struggle, brother. So, I salute you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Okay, so that's gonna be tough for me not, to go hard, for your campaign. Even, I'm showing, that I too, can lay down politics and focus my support behind the principled, black leader in our diaspora. So I thank you for this interview, brother, and I will be reaching out to you soon, maybe some months down the line, for a second interview.
All right, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, brother Hamm, keep pushing, brother.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.